Another trophy shines for Yağmur Yüksel, and the timelines can't stop buzzing. Youth votes poured in, the verdict landed, and the celebration began. Welcome to Turkish series stars. Before we dive in, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the stories everyone's whispering about. Every TV season births a flood of new titles and faces, yet only a handful immediately press the right nerve, warming living rooms from their opening seconds. Sref Ruya is one of those rare productions. At its core is a performance that the audience keeps returning to, Yağmur Yüksel as Nisan. Tonight, though, the spotlight doesn't just belong to a character, it belongs to the woman who embodies her, and to the man who stood just behind the cameras and right beside her on the carpet, Barış Baktaş. Chosen as Best Actress at the EK Awards ceremony, organized for the first time by the Economics and Business Club of Sabancı University, Yağmur stamped another milestone onto a career built carefully, bravely, and loudly applauded. It wasn't just a plaque, it was a chorus. The applause of young people who watched, voted, argued online, and then clicked again. The buzz didn't end with the announcement. It intensified when she appeared at the ceremony in a sharply tailored jacket, a crisp blouse, and a lace skirt that drifted as she walked. Social media turned into a comment thread that never slept, graceful yet fierce, elegance taught in a single look, poise that feels like Nisan stepped off the screen. And standing next to her, Barış, simply in a classic black suit, added calm strength to the scene, a quiet compliment that let her shine. He didn't need words, although later he'd leave a message that would trend on its own. So what is it that makes Sref Ruya feel different? Why do women in particular hold it close? And why does Nisan reach into memories people thought they had forgotten? This is the road we're taking tonight, a look at how Yağmur Yüksel turned a character into a mirror, and how the award she just received is both a result and a promise. Sref Ruya and Nisan, an unlikely pairing of dream and endurance. Each new season floods the screens with competing voices, yet only some resonate beyond numbers. Sref Ruya is that anomaly, the show that turns ratings into devotion. With Nisan, Yağmur brings a life to the frame that feels half-remembered and fully lived. Her latest accolade at the EK Awards is a stamp, yes, but in truth it's a receipt of something long paid in rehearsals, in rewrites, and in those late evenings where a scene refuses to breathe until it fits the heartbeat of the character. Of course, anyone who's been watching her trajectory knows this isn't chance. For years, Yağmur has taken roles that demanded more than charm. She grew with them, shed some, fought through others, and learned to choose what would challenge rather than flatter. Nisan is where that careful selecting found its perfect echo. A woman who shelters an old love, a memory that refuses to be archived. She stands between then and now, yet she never surrenders her tenderness, never apologizes for holding on. That contradiction is what audiences cling to. Critics write about the way Yağmur can speak without a line, how her eyes carry entire pages, how silence becomes the loudest thing in the room. This year's EK Awards, born from the judgment of an academic club but charged with the candor of a student body, carried a distinct prestige. Young viewers raised their hands for what felt true to them, and Yağmur's win carved a direct pipeline from campus seats to the stage lights. It wasn't a distant panel. It was the people who multitask between deadlines and streaming schedules, who pause a scene to screenshot a look or a line. That vote didn't just celebrate a role, it sealed a connection. Then came the red carpet moment, the style conversation of the night. Yağmur's clean-lined jacket and shirt, the lace skirt's soft rebellion, the minimal jewelry, the weight of understatement doing more than any sparkle could. In the photos that swept across feeds like a tide, the comments stacked up, keep conquering, refined and fierce, poise that could define a decade. Fashion people nodded. Fans saved the images. Even skeptics took another look. And yes, the camera kept panning to Barış, not because he stole the frame, but because he anchored it. The two of them moving through the flashes together made the kind of image media never tires of, a power couple that looks like a promise rather than a performance. This ceremony is one triumph in a sequence. Shortly after, the 61st Golden Awards named Yağmur the Inspirational Actress of the Year. In a world where inspirational is thrown around like confetti, her path gives the word gravity. She has made consistency feel electric, speaks plainly in an industry that often rewards the cryptic, and draws boundaries around her private life without building walls. And Barış, in a message posted the morning after, wrote about work before wonder, about nights spent running scenes in a quiet room, about knowing when to push and when to simply be present. That post alone turned comments into paragraphs, and paragraphs into essays. Ask Yağmur what sets Sref Ruya apart, and she circles back to a single theme: love that survives time. While most series sprint from spark to ash in a few episodes, this one lingers. It sits in the waiting, the pauses between moments, the ache of remembering. That's why the show translates so strongly to women who have carried their own unsent letters. Nisan's story taps the impossible loves of the past and threads them into the now. It feels nostalgic yet immediate, tender yet stubborn, and grounded in choices anyone could recognize even if they'd never make them. Patience, endurance, sincerity, 3 words that could also double as a biography of the way Yağmur works. What makes Sref Ruya succeed isn't only romance. It's the spine of its people. Nisan doesn't crack at every turn. She absorbs, argues, falters, steps forward again. She confronts her history without shattering her present. Watching her is watching a person who is allowed to be whole. Yağmur commits to that wholeness with an acting style that refuses shortcuts. It helps that her off-camera discipline is the stuff of set legend. She reads a script from the end to the beginning, then back again. She dissects why a breath falls here or a glance lands there. She checks rhythm with her partners, often rehearsing late, sometimes in little cafes with a notebook. Barış has been seen joining those sessions, not as a spectacle but as a steadying rhythm, reading lines, testing beats, offering space more than suggestions. Their professionalism leaks into their private vocabulary, and audiences can sense it. Her social media is the opposite of a mirrored staging. It's a collection of set moments, coffee breaks, street corners, snippets of scripts scrawled with notes. The tone is unvarnished without being careless, sincere without oversharing. Every week Sref Ruya airs, her posts lift the conversation further, adding momentum to the show's digital presence. Then there are the occasional glimpses with Barış, never forced, always only enough, which become instant talking points. People react not just to the image, but to the sense that what they're seeing reflects the same care they see on screen. Awards matter in an actor's life, but for Yağmur they've never been the destination. They're mile markers. The Best Actress honor from EK reads like a letter from young viewers, folded and slid across the table, signed with quick hearts and long paragraphs. Motivation for what's next rather than a victory lap. And what's next is already being whispered about: scripts in her bag, scenes in her head, the next turn for Nisan, and the projects that might follow. Look at her path and you'll see reinvention threaded through improvement. Early light-hearted work taught her rhythm. Dramatic turns demanded vulnerability. Nisan offered the rare space between, where tenderness meets grit. That hybrid is how she holds audiences in quiet scenes and in ones where the room catches fire. Even her connection with fashion plays into that balance. The outfit at the EK ceremony embodied a less is more stance that felt aligned with her instincts. Clean lines, subtle detail, and a refusal to let clothes speak louder than character. We talk often about the challenges women face in this industry: expectations, magnifying glasses, boxes within boxes. Yağmur's answer has been insistence, to be remembered for preparation, for choices, for range. Barış echoes that, keeping the focus on craft, turning interviews into conversations about work rather than rumors. Together they've become a reminder that the word couple can mean collaboration, a doubling of discipline as much as a pairing of names. From the pilot episode, Sref Ruya built a mood that you could step into. Its central romance unfolded with patience that felt rebellious. There were no shortcuts, only chapters. And as Yağmur herself has said, the show is about the dreams we never outgrow, the ones we hide in the back pocket of today. It carries the fingerprints of a love that refuses expiration, which is why the show's core audience, especially women, has held it so tightly. Nisan is a lens. Through her, viewers examine their own firsts, their almosts, their never-sent confessions. Through her, they forgive pieces of themselves. So yes, the Best Actress award is a glittering moment, but it is more than a night's applause. It's evidence of years of choices, of team effort, of the unseen hours that build a scene worth remembering. With Nisan, Yağmur didn't just play a role, she built a companion for the audience. And with Barış by her side, the off-screen story amplifies the on-screen truth, that love, when it has depth and discipline, lasts. People care about the couple because they care about the craft. They care about the craft because the couple never lets spectacle drown sincerity. In the days since the ceremony, social media keeps echoing. Clips of her acceptance, stills of that lace hem, a snapshot of two hands before a door opens. The applause hasn't faded online, but the real legacy is quieter. It lives in the moments when a viewer pauses in the middle of an episode, breathes differently, and decides to wait a little longer for something, someone, that matters. That's where success becomes more than a number. That's where it becomes a mark. What do you think of the award? Did Yağmur Yüksel earn Best Actress in your eyes? What did Nisan awaken in you while watching Sref Ruya? Tell us below. If you enjoyed our video, like it, subscribe to Turkish series stars, and ring the bell so you're first to know what's unfolding across the entertainment world. See you in the next one. Goodbye, and a hopeful, Happy New Year.